They are synonymous with the African landscape, whether effortlessly soaring on a thermal above the savanna or feeding on carcasses. Depicted as ugly and associated with greed and death, vultures are among the most unappreciated birds in the world. These magnificent birds, however, play a vital role in keeping our ecosystem healthy. Dubbed nature's cleanup crew, vultures help in disposing of carcasses and, by doing so, prevent the transmission of deadly diseases to humans and other animals. Unfortunately, vultures in Africa are now in danger. In recent years, vulture populations across Africa have declined catastrophically. 7 out of the 11 African vulture species face extinction. Poisoning, instigated by human-wildlife conflict, is the leading cause of vulture deaths in Kenya. Our guest today is Vincent Otieno, a Vultures Conservation Programs Coordinator from Nature Kenya. Vincent will be telling us more about vultures and how Nature Kenya is working with communities in Narok and Kajiado counties to promote conservation of these iconic birds. Stay tuned to yet another interesting episode of Nature Matters. Good to have you today in the show, Vincent.
Thank you, Richard, for having me.
Welcome. Vultures, I know many of our viewers are wondering, why should we care about them?
Yes, vultures are a very important group of birds because they clean the environment and they stop the spread of diseases like anthrax, botulism, and cholera, amongst others. They clean the environment by feeding on carcasses, and it's interesting about their gastric system. It's quite acidic, and pathogens, the disease-causing organisms like bacteria, cannot survive in their system. So with that, when they feed on these carcasses that would harbor these bacteria, it stops the spread of these diseases. Yes, so there has been misconceptions about vultures being associated with death. They look ugly, but with very keen view, vultures are very beautiful birds and incredibly interesting birds to see, and also the ecosystem service that they provide is very, very important. And they provide these services for free. You don't pay them to do this activity that they're doing, but yes, they do it for free, and that is very, very important. Having these vultures flying in the African skies is very important for our human health, for the world health. It's very important to see these birds fly above the African skies.
Wow, that's very, very interesting. I'm sure most of our viewers have learned a thing or two about these beautiful creatures. Speaking of which, why is vulture population on a decline?
Yes, vulture population have been in the declining trend for the around the last 3 decades. We've noticed that the population of vultures have been decreasing in the last 3 decades. And in Africa, there are 11 vulture species, and in Kenya we have 8 vulture species. And 4 out of these 8 vulture species found in Kenya are critically endangered, and this is because of their population decline. And the reason for population decline in Africa, there are several reasons for population decline in Africa. There is poisoning, and poisoning, there are 2 kinds of poisoning. there is intentional poisoning and unintentional poisoning. Some parts of West Africa, there is intentional poisoning, whereby the communities in West Africa would poison vultures to get their body parts for traditional belief practices. Some of this community would say that when you have these body parts, you are able to see the future. Others say that when you have these body parts, you would become rich. And that's the reason why they do these practices, traditional belief practices. There are other threats that vultures are facing, like infrastructure development, whereby vultures collide with energy infrastructure, for example, wind turbines, and also getting electrocuted by power lines, habitat loss, and here in Kenya, in East Africa, there is another type of poisoning. This is unintentional poisoning. Unintentional poisoning because of human-wildlife conflict. And the communities that do this, they do it as a retaliatory method or retaliatory attack to the predators that come and kill their livestock. So when they do this, they lace poison to the carcass, targeting the predators. But unfortunately, vultures become victims. And you see, vultures, they fly in large flocks. And when they come to feed on these carcass, they come and feed in large numbers. And unfortunately, they die in large numbers. The herder or the farmer targeted maybe one predator, let's say a lion or a hyena, but vultures become victims in large numbers. And this is very sad because the population are continuing to decline.
Well, Vincent, you've mentioned poisoning as the leading contributing factor to vulture population decline in Kenya. So where are cases of poisoning rampant and why?
Yes, poisoning accounts to more than 60% of vulture deaths in Africa. And in Kenya, poisoning, as I've mentioned earlier, it's done majorly because of human-wildlife conflicts. And in the two counties that I've mentioned, the Narok and Kajiado County, there are areas of poisoning hotspots, and these are within Mosiro area in Kajiado County, Kwenia Mashuru landscape in Kajiado again, and in Amboseli Kaputei region also in Kajiado County. And in the Narok County within the Masai Mara, we have the Aitong Nyakweri region and Talek Majimoto area as areas where are considered to be poisoning hotspots. Yes.
So, Vincent, I understand Nature Kenya, the East African Natural History Society, is present in these particular areas that you've mentioned, carrying out vulture conservation work. Is this so?
This is very, very true.
Oh, great. That's nice. So what are the approaches that you're using or promoting to accomplish this critical conservation undertaking?
Yes, Nature Kenya uses science-based actions. And with this, we promote citizen science within the landscape that we're working in. We are working with the community members. We are working with 65 community members who are called the Vulture Volunteers, who support the vulture conservation work by collecting data on human-wildlife conflict, support in awareness creation, support in poisoning responses, and also having collaborations with other institutions working together to see that vulture are conserved within this landscape. Yes.
Well, I am sure Nature Kenya, the East African Natural History Society, is not working alone on this. Who are the partners that you are engaging with in this vulture conservation work?
Yes, conservation work, you cannot do it alone. And it's true, we are working with partners. And one of the most important partners that we are working with is the community. We are working with the community within the landscape that I've mentioned earlier. Other partners include BirdLife International, the Peregrine Funds. We are also working with the Kenya Birds of Prey Trust, the Masai Mara Predators Conservation Program, that is the MPCP, Born Free, and among other stakeholders like Kenya Wildlife Service, the county government, among others.
Oh, great.
Yes.
So what are some of the key achievements of your vulture conservation work?
Yes, the vulture conservation work that we have done within the landscape, we have supported 13 schools so far with rainwater harvesting systems, where we have installed 19 water tanks. Out of these 19 water tanks, 17 of them are of the capacity of 10,000 liters, and 2 of them are of 5,000 liters. And these are within the Masai Mara and the Kajiado landscape that we have mentioned, where we are working on. And through awareness creation, we have managed to reach to more than 71,000 people. And with this, we use different awareness creation avenues. We have using barazas, village barazas, and also community meetings and market outreaches. Market outreaches are very interesting. They are conducted by our site support groups. These are community members within, again, the landscape that you're working on. In Masai Mara, the site support group in that landscape is called the Masai Mara Wildlife Ambassadors. And in the Amboseli ecosystem, this group is called Ereto Otwati Dancers. They use Maasai songs and dances to raise awareness about vulture conservation work, and it is very, very interesting to see them do it. We've also supported 10 predator-proof bomas. These bomas are constructed in a way that it prevents predators to gain access to the bomas. So far, it's very successful. We've seen no predation taking place in bomas, in these 10 bomas, apart from only one boma that we've only recorded one incident where a hyena burrowed and gained access into the boma.
It has been very nice talking to you, Vincent. But before I let you go, how can one be part of this noble cause of saving Africa's vultures from extinction?
Yes, I call upon everyone to become vultures ambassadors, vultures champions. Communicate about the importance of vultures in the ecosystems, communicate about the negative impacts of poisoning so that poisoning incidents reduce, and with that then raise more awareness about vultures wherever you are. And another one is become a member of Nature Kenya. becoming a member of Nature Kenya, being a member of Nature Kenya, you will support these noble action that we are undertaking to see that the African vultures are flying freely in the skies, in the African skies. And myself, I can't imagine, honestly, I can't imagine a healthy world without these incredible, beautiful, wonderful birds called the vultures. Yes, Richard.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, folks, this marks the end, or rather the conclusion of yet another Nature Matters episode series. We are, as usual, grateful for your viewership. If you enjoyed the show, give us a like. We welcome your thoughts on the show. If you have any, kindly share them with us in the comment section below. Also, subscribe to our channel to view more episodes. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to receive alerts of our latest uploads. Stay safe and see you next time.